here with recent UFC signee John Gunderson. John, you're finally making it to the big show. You know, you've been in the IFL. You know, you've had a strong presence in regional shows. What's it like to finally get to call?
I liked it. I was stoked. Actually had my first UFC fight, was it in January 2nd. So I took it on 2.5 weeks notice, and I came up on the short end of the stick. But for this fight, I've got a good 3 months to get ready, so I'm going to be prepared.
And so what did that mean to you? You know, you get the call, it's 2 weeks notice. Is it just, this is my chance to get into UFC, let's take it, and go back to square one if something bad happens?
Of course, it wasn't even in my head if anything bad happens. I went into that fight, thinking I was going to win, and things didn't come out my way, and I lost the decision. But now it's back to square one, and it's make 'em or break 'em for me. So I'm going in there to get it.
And you're out here in Las Vegas working with Sean Tompkins. What has his guidance meant to you, coming into this camp, getting ready for Paul Taylor?
Paul Taylor's a great striker, and you can't have a better striking coach than Sean Tompkins. So I think I'm in good hands.
What other kind of work are you doing out here to improve your game and make sure that it's going to be ready coming up at UFC 112?
I work with all the guys here at Tap Out. I also go to Extreme Couture. I have a wrestling coach. I have a strength and conditioning coach. And I've got a pretty good jiu-jitsu coach. So I think I've got, all the basics kind of, sorted out and ready to go. I've been working on my game. The day after my fight, I started training again. I wasn't hurt at all, so I just kind of worked on the basics, and I'm going to be ready to go.
You got some notoriety from the IFL. Can you talk about what that experience was like for you, and also, what it means to be in the UFC, an organization that for the most part won't fold?
Yeah. Well, the IFL basically, I think it helped prepare a lot of guys for a show like the UFC because it was a bigger stage, and at that point in time, it was the biggest stage of my career. So, of course, the UFC is so much more, and just to be a part of their organization, is a dream come true. So, I had a lot of good times with the IFL, and they did a lot of good things for me. So now that I'm with the UFC, I feel, that's where I belong, and that's where I'm going to stay.
What's been the biggest sacrifice you've had to make to get to the big show?
To get to the big show, the biggest sacrifice I've had to make, literally, is raising a family and trying to fight at the same time. It's extremely hard.
And how many kids do you have?
I have 2 daughters, one that's 6 and one that's 4, and of course I have my fiance, and we do a lot of things together to live out this dream.
Did that include moving to Las Vegas, or were you local here already?
No, we actually moved to Las Vegas. We actually moved from Oregon to Reno for the IFL, and then during the IFL, I got a job out here in Vegas, and so decided to move out here.
What kind of odd jobs have you held down in that time?
I've always just been a trainer. That's it. Before I used to build bridges, and after that, I just trained people.
What's harder, taking a punch to the face or building a bridge?
Building a bridge, I would say, sometimes is a little bit harder when you're out and it's snowing outside and you can't change and you're freezing and you're up about 100 feet off over a river and the wind's blowing and you're holding on to plywood and trying to nail it down. Sometimes I would say that's harder. I'd rather get in and fight for 15 minutes than be out there for 12 hours without eating and working like that.
It sounds pretty intense. Do you ever have any near-death experiences?
Oh, yeah. I had one experience where I actually I took a saw to the face and didn't have a guard on it and actually cut my lip off, and I had to stay in the hospital for that. And then I've actually seen people die on the job, and then I've seen lots of accidents. It's construction, and it's heavy construction. I've seen cranes tip over. I've seen forklifts tip over. I've seen a lot of stuff.
What about that mentally has prepared you for the fight game? Knowing that you're going to get in there and be able to survive. Ultimately you're going to be all right coming out of a fight, as opposed to those kind of situations where you don't know.
The one thing about working that helped me prepare for fights is when you work 12 to 14 hours a day and that kind of conditions, it prepares you for training for a fight. It puts you through all the hard work, and so I don't know. It's a hard one to answer.
And what can we expect from your fight with Paul Taylor?
You can expect fireworks. I think Paul Taylor's the guy you're not going to have a boring fight with. He's a very exciting fighter. He brings the fight. He's got good stand-up. You can expect me to put the pressure on him, and I think I'm going to put him away before the 3rd round, that's for sure. I know I'm going to finish him.